Well, hello. Welcome to One Top Podcast. I'm joined here, like always, with Carlo.
Hello.
Today, we're really pleased to have one of my heroes, former NHL star and entrepreneur, Sean Avery. Sean, thank you for being here. I'm a big fan of yours. You did what you did when you were a hockey player, like when I was a detective. We went out, we did what we had to do, and we were winners, and you're a winner.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man, we were just talking about this city and how much of a shithole it's turning into.
It's scary when you make people who are criminals and you bring them up like they're heroes and give them $8 million each and they want more money, and then all of a sudden you got a mayor, a moron, Big Bird de Blasio, now comes out with this law. If you commit and the worst ones out there are 17, 18, 19-year-olds. They're the punks that are robbing people. Now that means I could go and stab you, Carlo, rob your wallet, and you know what? And they're gonna let me out of jail, no bail. Where are we going with this friggin' thing?
Yeah, so I take the subway everywhere I go. I can't even get into a taxi anymore. I do not leave my house in New York City without a can of mace in my pocket because there's no cops anywhere. Anywhere you
and
walk
they don't
on,
want to get involved because they're getting in trouble.
No, and if you see NYPD, they don't do anything. I see people.
They spit at the cops and they take their phones out. And they go like this. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, no.
And then the cops walk away. They walk away.
So I'm just wondering, explain that to me because you were a detective. Is that because it's not worth them?
No,
putting themselves in that situation?
They don't have any support. This police commissioner they got is a zero. All he is a butt boy for Big Bird de Blasio. Perfect example, that kid Pantalino over in Staten Island. I mean, terrible tragedy. The guy died. Eric Gardner. I've talked about this inside out. The problem here is that when I was a cop, you had to be 5'8". I had to make it 5'8". So I'm a little guy. When I take a guy down, I affected the rest of thousands of people. I take down a big guy, I grab him in a headlock and bring him to the ground.
Right.
Exactly what this kid. This guy had acute heart problems. He had acute asthma and diabetes. His daughter died at 27 from heart failure. If he did one friggin' push-up, Mr. Gardner would have had a heart attack.
Right.
My point is now and the commission has not supported this cop. So if you're a cop, you say, you know what? I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting in trouble.
Right.
Because all the cops that react and do their jobs, you get in trouble. When I was here in the 70s, we had 2,200 murders. Crime was everywhere. I used to carry brass knuckles. I never killed nobody, but I took guys down and I do what I had to do.
Right.
I never flaked them. Guns off the street. Now, if you go search somebody and they say, well, you didn't have the right to search him, even though he had the guns, they'll sue you. So cops are saying, you know what? I'm going to get my 20 years and then I'm going to retire and do nothing.
Yeah, you can feel it. You can feel it walking around that. I guess maybe because of stop and frisk when they pulled that, there's a sense of people feel safe. The criminals feel safe. Like I can feel
They're
it
not
on
afraid
them.
of the
No,
police.
they're not afraid of the
When we were
police.
young, I mean, me, you, everybody. When you see a cop, you got nervous. Now it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke, and who shows up? You know, not to knock anybody or anything. I mean, the effectiveness of a cop is a physical being. I made sure I was able to fight, and now all of a sudden they just throw them on. They want racial quotas, this, female quotas, that. You know what the quota should be? That you're physically fit, that you can fight with somebody.
Yep.
When you pull your gun out and they tell you shove it up your ass, you got to be able to take them out without shooting them.
Yep.
And that's the problem.
No, I sometimes I talk to the guys that emergency response vehicles. They tell me all they do all day long is drive around and pick up drunk, high assholes on the street. That's the other thing. The homeless in this city right now is out of control.
You see the tents on Fifth Avenue up there in the 80s, right next to Central Park? They're making like a tent city. I love this city, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm scared for where we're going. And with this advent of what this moron, and I'll say it, and when he sees me, if he walked in here today, he runs the other way.
Right,
I'd like to punch him right out.
Right.
You know what the problem is? He doesn't know what these people are going through. Guys like you, guys like Carlo, you're on the train. Now you're in there. It's an event to get from your house to your work, from your work back home safely. It's like, remember the Warriors, that old movie?
Yeah,
It's like the Warriors on the trains now.
And they take over.
Every train every morning, at least one car, there's homeless people
Yep.
with their bags, stuff.
And try to say something to them, right?
I'll tell you, when I walk on and I see that, the moment that I see anyone feeling uncomfortable on a train because of one of these guys, I pick their shit up and I throw it out the door when we come to a next stop. Because
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? You're obviously, these guys are gonna go and get their stuff, or they're gonna stay on the train and make everyone feel uncomfortable. So I just walk over, I pick their bags up, and I throw their shit right out the door.
Well,
Because-
Sean, you're obviously a very fine person inside, but and then again, you're gonna get one of these psychopaths
course.
gonna have a knife, and
Yeah.
you're gonna confront them, and God make you safe. That's
No.
all I'm saying.
No.
'Cause, I got a gun, I carry a gun, but I've never ever killed anybody. But when the time comes, they're gonna go, oh, he's an ex-detective. He killed this guy unjustly. When they're supposed to stand there and get stabbed or get. I had one guy one time, Sean. He fired at me from here to the wall 5 times a revolver. He didn't know how to shoot. He pulled the rounds, went to the side. He threw the gun down. He goes, "You got me." I said, "Mother effer, your day just began." He ended up in a friggin' hospital, and you
Right.
know what? He deserved. He could have killed me. I could have gunned him right down. I would have got another medal, and I would have been a hero. But life is so precious to me, and we try. Where as far as mental illness, that's what the problem is. A lot of mental illness on the streets, and then the moron's wife there. She's a moron too.
Yeah,
Mrs. de
Charlene.
Blasio. $250 million. I
think it's more.
250 million at the minimum.
Which they can't find.
They can't find, and it was supposed to go to mental health. Where'd it go? Well, I can't explain it. It's in different levels. Give me a break, man. You stole that money. I want an accountant. The attorney general should go after her. Sean, I love you. You're a New Yorker like me, and Carlo, you're a New Yorker through and through. I mean, we had a vent on this thing, but more important is why people love Sean Avery. You've entertained, especially when you were with the New York team. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With my beloved Rangers there.
Yeah.
You've entertained us over the years, and my man over here is the statistical freak about what you did when you played hockey. Go ahead, Carlo.
Yeah, so Sean, very happy to have you here.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously,
thanks for having
you got involved in so many diverse fields. So when you were growing up, did you always want to play hockey, or did you have these ideas about going to different stuff? Like
Yeah, I
fashion?
mean, I think like a Canadian kid growing up,
Where'd you grow up?
Toronto.
I filmed my movie, One Tough Cop. Great people in Toronto. Very
Right.
Italian, too.
Right, very
I have a lot
Italian.
of cousins up
Huge
there.
Italian community. Very, very multicultural city.
I love Toronto. And I ended up doing when we were filming One Tough Cop, it was, I think, 1998. And I had Sean Penn, Chris Penn, Sean's brother,
Yeah.
playing one of my partners.
Rest in peace.
In One Tough Cop. And he used to drink a lot, and I never forget, he was making fun of all the people, the camera
extras.
peas and all the
yeah,
camera
yeah.
people. I grabbed him in the back, and I said, "Listen to me, fucko." I said, "We're guests up here.
Right.
These people, we're invited guests. You treat them with respect, otherwise I'll smack you in your friggin' head."
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Ball, I did slap in the face. He plays me because I was up there with the gal I was going out with at that time. He had put his arm around, he's kissed her the cheek. I said, "Oh, that's enough, that's enough." Third time he's kissed her the cheek. Boom, I smacked him in the face. I said, "You might be playing me in this freaking movie. You ain't Bo Dietl, okay?"
I can't. He's like his claim to fame now. He just bashes Trump on Twitter. Stephen Baldwin.
Stephen loves Trump.
Oh,
His
oh,
brother's
oh.
the psychopath.
Oh, I see.
Alex
okay.
is the one that bashes Trump.
Right. I love Alex. He doesn't take any shit.
But he's the one that bashes Trump. Is
Right,
Alex.
right,
Yeah.
right.
No, Alex is a cool guy. I like Alex and Steven. But the point we're trying to get at is your career started in Toronto. Did you play hockey in high school?
Yeah, I mean, when we grow, any Canadian kid really, from the time I was 2 years old, I mean, we used to skate on the sidewalks to school because the sidewalks would be frozen. I mean, I had a hockey
Ice skate from your house to school. With ice skates.
on the sidewalks because the sidewalks were frozen because it was so cold. But yeah, no, I think, once I came to New York, I think things changed and like you start to get exposure to a big city and if you're smart, I think as an athlete, you take advantage of it. Right. I think it's changed now. Sports used to be very one-dimensional. you played sports and that's what you did. Now you see guys like certainly LeBron James, some of these guys, they're producing movies, they're they got clothing lines.
Everybody's out there, and look at the A1 guy is Magic Johnson. I mean,
Yeah,
you
he's made $1 billion.
You counted this dude out with HIV and everything else, and he looks healthier than anybody. Thank God. God bless him.
Yep.
And he became a real businessman, entrepreneur. I look up to that. I like that. I like when people work hard. You know what? Hard work equals success.
Yep.
You can't sit back and be jealous of that guy. Oh, I could have done it better. Go do it. I tell everybody, go do it.
That's funny because people always, they give me shit sometimes. Like, if a guy's sitting on the street, if I handed somebody $1 in New York City every time somebody asked me for $1,
You have no money.
I'd have no money.
Right.
Like, there's so many opportunities in this city. If you can't find a job in New York City, I don't know what you're lazy. You're either sick or you're lazy. And if you're sick,
Yeah.
there's a million programs where
That will help you.
Yep.
And we got you here, man, because you're like the hero of the hockey. So in your career, we're talking about 90 goals, right? That was what you made, was 90 goals?
maybe. I mean, there's more penalty minutes.
A lot of penalty minutes. So, I mean, you're no stranger to controversy. You attract a lot of controversy. Do you think that the NHL is changing a little bit? Is it becoming more like the NBA where you can have a personality? Or they always kind of came after you because you were outspoken.
Yeah, no, I think that they're still definitely behind in how they're marketing the game, and I think marketing the game in the sense of letting the players market themselves. There's a lot of interesting guys in the NHL, We see how interesting some of these basketball players and football players are, but the NHL is it's a very old school mentality. And they definitely are behind the times in how they're marketing. And I think, I don't know if it's ever going to change. I really don't.
Well, you're one guy that changed it. I mean, you went into the entrepreneurship. I mean, you started doing business other than playing hockey.
Right.
And I mean, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, while I was here, I opened a couple of restaurants. I opened up a bar in Tribeca, and then we opened up a restaurant in Tribeca. I remember when I was doing that was a thing that was looked down upon.
Really?
I mean, yeah, that was something where it was like, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be focusing on playing. And I think, if you tried to tell anyone else that in another sport, they'd laugh at you. You'd be like, this is me. This is my business. I'm a brand.
Yeah.
So, I never really let any of that affect me. I've always dabbled in different stuff. I think that was just something that was my path. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
I know you did commercials. Have you done any movie acting?
Yeah, I just finished doing a Netflix movie about a month ago. 3 years ago, my buddy Pete Berg put me in a movie called Patriots Day.
Oh, I loved
yeah.
it.
And
That was with my friend.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, and when we, 1998, the director, I just carried this little picture around me. The director was going to have him play Bo Dietl, so he was with me for about 6 months. He was like a little too skinny. And I said to him, Mark, if you want to be believable that you can kick some ass, I said, one thing you got to do, you got to put some poundage on. There's Mark
Right.
Wahlberg as a
Wow, he's
kid.
small there, yeah.
Yeah, and I loved him. We were together, and then all of a sudden the stupid producer, Marty Bregman, fires him. And then I had to pick between Stephen Baldwin and Matt Dillon. And Stallone wanted to do it years ago, back 10 years prior to this.
Wow, that's
Stallone
great.
says, I go with the guy who's like the virgin. Yeah, so I mean, I love Mark Wahlberg. I thought that was one of the great movies also.
Yeah, they did it
done very well.
They did a good job. And so basically, I was on the train home, and I was kind of thinking to myself, that's the closest thing that I'm ever going to feel to playing hockey. You're standing on set. There's 100 people around. They hit the lights. They say action. It's like a feeling.
Yeah, I've done a lot of movies, and it's and people think it's all exciting. It's a lot of hurry up and wait shit
Right.
going on, and it's things back up, or you got to be. It's 6 o'clock. get into makeup, and you sit around. Now you're there at 6. You don't go on the set until maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's not easy.
No, it's a tough job. I mean, for the last probably the last year, I've been like, I'm a New York actor. I go to auditions. I sit in audition rooms.
I got this new movie coming out called The Irishman. Big
yeah,
movie.
of course.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to get a really great role and my co-stars are a guy named Al Pacino. And a guy named
I've heard of
Robert
him.
De Niro.
Yeah, it's coming out soon,
It's coming
right?
out in the fall. Netflix is, but they're going to do a theatrical release. Then I'll have it on there. But people don't understand. Being an actor is not easy work. It's a lot of time you put in there. But the commercials are cool. I did Arby's for 2 years.
Right.
Almost $1 million they paid me
Right.
for 2 years of Arby's roast beef. I was traveling 12 days a year. That was it.
Yeah.
Doing commercials. I mean, that's where good money is.
Yeah, the hardest thing that I had, because I never memorized anything.
Right.
So all of a sudden, you get this, you get 3 pages of dialogue, and you got 24 hours to turn it around, and like, I never memorized anything.
It's very, very hard. And Carlo will tell you, every part, I got my guy Vinny Maritano. He's a half actor. He ain't that great of an actor, but he's a great guy. So when I get a part, he'll tell you, I close my door, we go through it.
Right.
So when I go for the audition, you got to know your lines.
Yep.
Because then if you know your lines,
Yeah,
you could put the acting into it.
Yep.
And you got to know the story.
Yep.
And if you know the story, you know your lines sellable. Because I sat there with a lot of, I was a producer about 8 movies, and you see somebody casting, you see one who knows really what they're doing. Someone that's just, reading the lines. That don't make it.
No, you can. I can feel it. Like I need 3 days. I need 3 days till it's in my brain, and I can
you
sit,
are the part.
and I can sit down, and they say, "All right, let's go." Because you walk into a casting room, and I'm waiting in a room, and like guys are asking me to take pictures with them. It's like a crazy. I had a call back with Sofia Coppola last week.
Yeah.
I walk in, it's a cop, Bill Murray movie. I walk in, there's 3 guys, they're auditioning for the same part. They're dressed as cops. They're not cops.
But they have cop uniforms.
They have cop uniforms on. So one of the guys like asking to take a picture with me.
Right.
It's like I'm about to walk in and I'm in the zone right now. Like I don't want to take a picture with you, bro.
Yeah. Afterwards.
So it's a very interesting transition. It's fun. And I think you and Wolf of Wall Street's like one of the.
Well, I played myself. It wasn't that hard. Up in Rails, I got to get your ass up to Rails.
I know. I
Dinner
got to
with
come
me.
up there.
Carlo, put him on the A list. Maybe 2, not tomorrow, not today. Maybe next week. You want to come up?
I'm ready. I'm
All right,
ready.
Put him on for the following
right.
week. We got room, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, but the thing is this, like even with the Wolf of Wall Street, I play Bo Dietl. So when Marty Scorsese called me, he goes, I got this big part for this guy, Joey Glimp. What was my name? My name was Bo Dietl. That's right. Glimko was in Vinyl.
Right.
Played with Vinyl. And he goes, I got this part for this guy, Bo Dietl. Who do you think we should have play that part? I said, Marty, that's my freaking part. And to play opposite of the great Leonardo DiCaprio, that was very thrilling.
But I think, isn't that what makes a great director? Somebody that understands
who could play that part.
Play a specific part. I mean, you were playing yourself, but when I watched that movie, I didn't think it was you. I mean, I thought you were one of these characters in the movie.
Yeah, and with Marty, it's a great thing is because once you do your lines, the written lines,
Right.
because they like to get that out, then all of a sudden he goes, now be
Right.
yourselves.
Which-
So all of a sudden Leo starts taking what's supposed to be Quaaludes.
Right.
I say to him, the last time you took those fucking Quaaludes, you fell asleep in your
Right,
macaron.
that was-
But this really happened with the real Jordan Belfort.
Right.
And so it was really exciting to be part of that. Goodfellas. I end up, these guys that are in Goodfellas, actually I grew up with all of them. I knew them all. And I end up locking Jimmy Burke, that was his real name, Conway
Right,
De Niro,
right, yep.
on 2 murders that Henry Hill gave up. And Henry Hill was like a guy, he was a punk. We used to throw him out of the bar. He was like a wannabe.
Right.
He wanted to be a wise guy, but he was a punk. Then he
Right.
became a rat. But my point was, it's so exciting where my life has touched upon all these major motion pictures. I wasn't around for The Irishman, but The Irishman's really good, and we're real excited.
Why haven't you just like done more.
Well, you know what? I run a business.
Right.
I have cybersecurity business. Got to make cash.
Right.
Put it this way: if I had all the money in the world, I'd be playing that game.
Right.
I got to keep running my business,
Right.
and I'm gonna run it. And you know, I'm a young 60 addict. Still do 75 good push-ups. No cheating shit either.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? I just was on a bike last weekend in the Hamptons. I got on my bike. I started going. I went 15 miles, and I had to go 15 miles back. It wasn't a marathon pace, but still 30 miles is pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
you're 68. I mean,
I
don't know.
And the last time I did it was months prior to that. So it's not something I do regularly.
Right.
With the push-ups, I'll do them 1 week, but then I do it again maybe the next week, and they come out easy. 75 good push-ups. Push-ups are very important.
Right.
And I feel great about the fact that I still got it in me.
Yeah, you gotta do them. I loved vinyl. You said vinyl. I thought
Yeah.
that was a great show. I don't know why they
I
canceled
played
that.
Joe Corso, yeah. And you know
Got canceled way too
Yeah,
soon.
right.
You know what was really great was Bobby Carnival.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And who was-
Amazing New York
And
New
you
York
know who was
actor.
really great too? Andrew Dice Clay
Yeah.
played a great part. And then they kill him off too fast. I killed him.
But look
I
at
killed him.
Clay's having a huge comeback.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Stars
Huge,
Born and all that kind of
huge
stuff.
comeback.
Yeah.
And he and that again, perfect part for him to play. Like for where he is in his life.
Yeah.
that was a perfect
Wow, he
part.
was, yeah, and him and that, I spoke to him after that, after they filmed that, and I told him, you know, it was fabulous. So with this Hickey Freeman, the suit thing, right?
Yeah, so I want to get into this. So, I mean, you were in the NHL world, and you know, you
Oh,
came
you're going
from the
back
world
to
of
hockey.
athletics.
That's
So
right. I
was
forgot
it
you were a
strict-
hockey
No,
guy.
but was
Right,
it was it weird going to the fashion world? Did you have any resistance? Did anybody think it was weird?
No,
or-
I mean, when I was playing, I had done an internship at Vogue magazine during the off season. So
So how was that? I mean, you're in a locker room with a bunch of guys that you know.
yeah, I mean, I
are
think
tough
everyone.
guys, then you go to Vogue magazine. Like, how's that contrast?
I think that was kind of the confusion that I always like to create around me. Like I actually kind of look at it now. I was always playing a character when I was playing. You know, I was always a certain. Every decision that I made when I was playing, whether it was like interning at Vogue or, you know, there was a guy that I was gonna fight in Toronto, and I knew that there was gonna be a circus around it. It was all
You were
pre.
gonna do it actually in the ring thing?
Yeah, it was all premeditated. Like I always
you got in people's heads a lot.
I always knew the decision was going to lead to something else. So, you know, I think now you see athletes in fashion, it's like a totally normal thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember eight years ago, I got in trouble because I walked onto a team plane and I'd cut the legs off of my suit into a short. I don't know, a year ago, LeBron James, there was a big thing. He walks into a playoff game and he had, same thing. He was wearing shorts.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA. I mean, there's a fashion show
Totally
before every
normal.
game, yeah.
So you think about 10 years ago doing that, I was like, they thought I was fucking crazy.
But you're a pioneer.
So it was always kind of like, you know, I was trying to find ways to express myself. And I think fashion was a way, especially being in New York, it gave me an opportunity to do that. And I was also a single guy.
Are you still single now?
No, I've been married for 3 years.
Any kids?
No kids yet. Yeah. But, you know, that's where all the babes were.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no dummy.
Yeah.
That was like.
Well, why not work in the model age
Right.
if
Right.
you're single?
Right.
What's better than that? That's
Right.
like liking chocolate, working a chocolate
Exactly.
factory. Now, before we get off the hockey thing, you were famous for this Avery rule.
Right.
We got about 20,000 people that listen to us. I'd like you to explain what that was all about. I think it was with the Devils, I think, or something. So what was that all about?
So I had a feud going with the Marty Brodeur, who was the goalie for the Devils. And every time we played them, I would go in front of the net, and that was my job. I get in front of the net, and I try and you get dirty in front of the net. But he would always tap me in the back of my legs, and then I would fall over and I'd fall into him.
Hit you with the stick?
Yeah, so that's the only way. It's a real easy way to get a guy on skates to fall.
Of course.
You tap him, and so I kept falling into him. So I'm thinking to myself on the bench, like a minute before it happens, what the fuck am I gonna do? I gotta figure something out. We're going out on the power play. So all of a sudden, I jump over the boards, I skate towards him, and something just came into my mind, and I said, fuck it. I'm going to stand so I can see him. If I see him, he's not going to be able to tap my legs. I can't fall into him. I can't get a penalty. So then I was like, well, shit, I should put my hand in front of his face. And every time he moves, I'll move my hand. He's not going to be able to see. So it ends up turning into a circus. I scored like 10 or 15 seconds after, which was interesting.
If you blocked it.
Yeah, right. So I go to bed that night, and I wake up the next morning, and the NHL had created a rule, and I can't believe they were this dumb, but they named it the Avery rule, and they sort of interpreted an existing rule so that you basically couldn't do that, which was also legal because they had to follow steps. Like they needed our union to agree to it, but they just did it, and so that was the birth of it. I think it's still in the rule book. I think it still exists. So if anything, out of my whole career, I left a little bit of a mark.
Yeah,
I got a rule named after me.
Well, I would rather you have the Avery right fucking hook.
Right. I'd take that. I'd take that.
But as far as staying with the fashion thing, you actually did a commercial. You had who I know is this famous actor there. I love him in The Deuce.
Oh,
He
James
actually
Franco.
directed James Franco.
Yeah.
He's been up to Rayo's there. I've seen him up to Rayo's there. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah,
pretty cool guy.
James is a good dude. He was directing for a couple of years. He was doing all the Seven for Mankind Gene commercials. He was doing like these short movies, these weird like experimental shit with vampires and naked chicks and everyone.
we were talking about actors that all of a sudden they get in. Who was that guy that I interviewed? He was with me with the Appalachian thing. That famous actor.
David Arquette.
Oh yeah,
David
yeah.
Arquette's a cool guy, but then all of a sudden he steps in the ring. He thinks he's a wrestler.
Right.
He doesn't understand these guys make a living out of it.
Right.
He's an actor, and then all of a sudden he thinks, and they gun for him.
Right.
They want to beat the living shit out of him. They open his head up and all that.
Did you do them, Danny A?
I did that. I played a
They just
Jewish
did it, right?
lawyer. I play, what's my name?
Irving Bozeman.
Oh, Irving Bozeman.
And I'm defending. Who am I defending? Galante, I think.
Carmine
Galante. And he gave me a nice little part.
But Arquette's in it, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays the cop, and then the kid from The Wolf of Wall Street, that one with the glasses, like the dummy. He plays a dummy cop, and I tell you, it's a cute movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not an expensively produced movie, but it's really, really good.
Danny, he's
my man.
hustling, man. He's
Yeah.
like that's how you
We
got to
give
do it
him
in
a
that.
call, too. Maybe he'll come up next Thursday to have dinner with us. I know he's hanging out with all those fancy asses in the Cannes Film Festival.
Right.
Maybe he's back by
Right,
now.
yeah, he's got- it's over.
Invite Danny
It's
up with
over.
him. You know him pretty good, Danny?
Yeah. I
Cool.
mean, I know him. He was like hustling. He was like the king of New York, the nightlife.
Yeah. Well, he
And
then
now
hooked
he's
up with Leo
transitioned,
and everything.
right.
Now he's a real movie maker.
Yep.
He's very talented. He's
Yep.
seen it from the sideline. He watched a lot. I'm very impressed with.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
impressed
He's
with
putting
him.
the time in.
Yeah. So basically, your endeavors now day to day is what? You have any restaurants that are open now or anything?
So I sold the restaurants 3 or 4 years ago because, honestly, like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I was really nervous. A buddy of mine that I used to play with in Chicago, Chris Chelios, he owned a bar in Chicago, and one day one of his line cooks came in and shot his sous chef over a girl.
Wow.
And it really freaked me out, and I was like, you know what? I got to get out of this from a liability standpoint. So I sold the restaurants. My day-to-day now is I literally wake up, I pray for an audition. If I get one, I get to close everything and shut my phone off for 2 days. I get to
Who's your agent?
Dean Fluker at UTA. It's one of the big ones like CAA, UTA. So yeah, that's kind of my life, and I'm just kind of you got to wait, you got to pay your dues. I think.
Well, I got something going that might pop. and I'll be the executive producer.
Right.
It's a thing called Flatlands. It's based on a true story of this gang out of Brooklyn, Roy DeMeo's crew. They killed maybe 150, 200 people. He used to drain the blood out of them. Really, really 1970s, 80-ish.
Based
Cool
off
thing.
a book?
Well, there
Or
was
the-
a book written, but this is based on fact. And
Right,
as,
right.
As a homicide detective, I knew about Roy DeMeo. The mob guys, Johnny Gotti, I grew up with the father. They were afraid of these guys. These guys were badass. So we're dealing right now with Netflix right now. If that pops, I want you to be part of it.
Of course.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can fit right in there.
course.
And you know what? And then you'll have your script a couple of weeks in advance.
I like that.
Maybe I'll let you work with Vinny Maritano, my script guy. You'll nail the thing, and you'll become. You know, when you have a reoccurring role, that's pretty good
Yeah,
shit.
that's what you want. You want
Remember,
to.
Carlo, when we start doing this.
Absolutely.
What were these guys doing? Why were they doing it?
Well, there was a crew of about 6 of them, and these were 6 psychopathic homicide. You know, usually if I'm a homicidal maniac, I'm a homicidal maniac. But it was 6 of them together. The mob used to hire them to take out guys, kidnap them, bring them back to the bar. The what was the name of that? The Gemini Lounge in Brooklyn. And they would take them in the back room, and then all of a sudden they would shoot them, and then they would put them and they drain their blood out so they wouldn't spurt all over, and then they would chop them up and dump them all over the place.
Wow.
I mean, this is really probably the baddest ass mob enforcers.
Wow.
Because even the mob guys were afraid because, hey, all of a sudden the guy would disappear and you won't even know what happened to you.
What's the
Brooklyn.
Flatlands?
Flatlands is an area in Brooklyn. When I was a homicide detective, it was like a dumping grounds. Like, for instance, I caught 2 cold cases when I was still a homicide detective, and there were bodies that were dumped over there. When Henry Hill from Goodfellas,
Yeah.
Henry Hill now, when he cooperated with the government, he now gives up 2 murders that I caught that were committed, and they dumped the bodies. So they're called cold cases. So I had to fly to Pennsylvania, Allenwood Penitentiary, and bring Jimmy Burke back, who I knew as a kid. I didn't put handcuffs. We were drunk on the plane. Me and my partner picked him up, and we were drinking little bottles of scotch. Time we arrived at LaGuardia, we were drunk. My lieutenant says, "You're effing drunk, Bo. Your prisoner's drunk. Your partner's drunk." I said, "Jimmy Burke, man. He was doing life anyway, so this
Right.
was closing out 2
Yeah,
cases." But the point is that Flatlands was an area in Brooklyn that was really a dump ground. It could be like the 7-5 precinct.
Right.
Back then, we used to have over 100, 120 murders in one precinct per year. So every time, Friday, Saturday night, especially full fucking moon. Full moon, really.
Really?
I knew murder. Every time I
Really?
saw a full moon, I knew we were gonna have a murder that night. Sure enough, it's like was clockwork. Yeah. So this basically was about a gang in Brooklyn during a period of time when I was a homicide detective. So I kind of knew about them. So this is a very interesting story. It's rough, and we're gonna see if.
And you think back then, like the difference was because there was no DNA, those guys could get away with that shit for a long time.
With the advent today, with all these DNA, we just broke a triple homicide in Kentucky on. Because we had evidence that they didn't check certain evidence. The advancement with scientific evidence has gone so high so
Right.
far. I really believe even with this Central Park 5, I'm going to bring on Linda Fairstein. She's the DA to handle it. That's a whole lot of hogwash there. I really believe it. I would call out for them. Why don't we find some evidence around that woman that was raped by the Spanish guy? He ended up ejaculating in her. So once they found that in her, the other guys got off. But I'd like to find out other evidence, and I'd like to do DNA contact if any of their DNA is on any of those evidence, and I'll call out to the DA. Let's reinvestigate the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, so
Well,
what?
they got $8 million each.
Right.
Now,
Right.
a
And
million
they
is.
got Showtime series
Yeah.
is coming out, I think.
And Netflix.
Right.
I think 2 series.
Yeah. It's wild that.
And they were wilding. That's what it was called. They were in Central Park, and they were wild. They were beating people up, this gang, and they were there robbing and beating people. Now they're treated like heroes.
Yeah, because now if you don't know what happened back then, you
Yeah.
read the story and think,
No,
these
people
guys got
actually told me,
screwed.
this boy, and then they show a picture of this little boy, 12 years old, looking like it was from communion picture, and you go, the poor little boy, he was railroaded by the big badass cops.
Right.
That's bullshit.
They were bad
And
dudes.
Yeah, they were bad dudes, and they were doing wilding throughout. And they got, I think, 6 or 7. We're gonna have her on here, Linda Fierstein, and they beat the shit out of one. Got pretty bad. Now, what my idea is, and I talked to Mike Sheehan. Mike Sheehan's one of my old partners. He handled this case. He's very sick. I don't know if we're gonna get him on the show. He's been having problems with his stomach bleeding, all that stuff. I hope he gets better. But Mike was saying, Bo, this is bullshit. These guys were badass. What happened, I think, is they were messing with her, punch around, whatever,
Right.
robbing her. Then all of a sudden, he left her. And then
And
dummy,
this guy comes on and
this
says-
guy comes on, drops a load, and then the next thing is, does his semen's in her, and then they get off like, oh, they didn't rape her. No, they didn't rape her. Probably one of them, they couldn't get a fucking hard on.
Right.
And then this jerk dumps a load, and then the case is all done.
So what happened to the Spanish guy? Did he get life?
He was already doing life or something like that.
Yeah, he was doing all
already
this-
away on like 10 other crimes.
Yeah, and then all of a
Right.
sudden he comes out of the woodwork, but his DNA was in her. So I don't know. Maybe a deal went down in jail. Hey, I banged that broad. I tell you what, I'll cop out. You
Right.
guys get money. Maybe money went back to his family. Who knows?
Right.
But to make these guys heroes, and look what's going on today. You could commit robbery. I could stab you, and rob you, and you don't get no bail.
Right. Well, I've seen it with the Kennedy daughter. She's got this bail reform thing that she's doing also, and the first guy that they let out, he's been arrested 3 or 4 times since they got him out of Rikers.
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh,
crazy.
there's plenty of
And-
them. You know what this is all about? I'll tell you what this is all about. This jerk off Big Bird de Blasio. Ooh, I hate him.
How does he think? I just want to. Who is going to donate money to his presidential run?
Jerk-offs.
Who would actually
No, you know who's
donate?
gonna donate?
Teamsters?
People, no, people he's doing things for.
Right.
All
Well-
those scumbags that are pay for play.
Right.
And if you remember my last debate with him on CBS TV with Maurice Dubois when I
Right.
running for mayor,
Yeah.
I said, you know, Mr. Mayor, I've been a detective my whole life, and I know a criminal when I see one. And you're a criminal with your pay for play. How much do I got to give you to get something done in the city? The place clapped. All of a sudden, he starts walking away. And I went to shake his hand after the debate. You do that normally,
Right.
even if you hate the scumbag. And I go to shake his hand. He walked away. I says, you know what? Go fuck yourself, Big Bird. They didn't pick it up on the TV.
Yeah,
but
he's
a scumbag.
No, say what you will about Bloomberg. He was on that subway
smart.
every single day,
And
right?
Bloomberg was smart. He had balls. This guy's a pussy.
Yeah.
He walks on his which way did he go on the treadmill?
Yeah,
he's got no body mass, no muscle on him.
No.
He's like a big bag of bones. I think one shot, Sean, you or
Oh,
I,
you
could fold up like one of those cheap valises or one of those folding chairs.
He's got 5. He takes the 5 SUVs out to
and they have all
every
guards
morning.
around him. Yeah. Why don't you hop on a train? No balls. I challenge you, no balls. Send a challenge out on my Twitter.
'Cause
I challenge no balls to take the subway to Brooklyn for your workout.
I've seen. Yeah, right. Like I don't understand that.
Well, it's only good for you, Sean, and me.
Right,
or Carlo.
right. But
it ain't good enough for
But
him.
he's the first person to he'll stand up and say, "We got a safe city. Our city's
Yeah.
safe." How would he know?
Yeah, he's in
How
the
would he
with
know?
Guys with guns all over the place. That pisses me off. But getting back to you, that invitation ain't just radio talk.
Yeah. I know. I'm coming. We're gonna do
Carlo,
rails.
you set up, and then
100%.
see if Danny A's available. The boys will come up there. That'd be nice. And again, you know what I like about you too is you're kind of like Bo with a fucking hockey stick.
Yep.
You ain't afraid of nobody. You say it like it is.
Yep.
You get in the face. You know what it's all about. You feel very confident about
Yeah.
yourself. You know, and it's all about, too, when you're on those subways, you look in the eye of the scumbag. He's looking around the room, and when you got a guy looking like fucking Waldo that ain't looking in his eye, that's going to be the easy one. He's going to have a problem with Sean Avery.
They got no problem scaring the average man. The average woman. That's the difference. I look them in the eye, and they know. They can see, maybe this is going to go somewhere I don't really want it to go.
And let me put it right on the air right now. If ever you have a problem, you're going to have my cell phone.
Yeah,
You
I got
call
it.
me
I
right
got
up. You got to knock one of these scumbags out. And
Right.
you know what? You don't talk to nobody.
Yeah. That's the
we
rule,
get
right?
the lawyer. Don't talk to nobody. And that's it. I tell everyone, once you talk, hey, just say, look, the guy tried to hit me. The guy tried to swing at me. The guy hit me, and I just defended myself.
That's what you said. You told Jordan. You said, Jordan, don't talk to this guy. Did
No.
you try and bribe an FBI
He goes,
agent?
No, that was one scene. But the other scene was like this. We're sitting in Rayo's, and all of a sudden I go, wait, Jordan, you want me to bug an FBI agent's house, his car, and his office? You know, Jordan, you're stupid. He's smart. And then all of a sudden he's in the car, and then I said, Jordan, you didn't try to bribe an FBI agent, did you?
Was that all on the page, or was that a little bit of improv stuff?
A little improv, yeah. And Marty I think he's the greatest director. I love him. Matter of fact, I got to go to, what's he doing next?
Oh, he's got a new documentary on Bob Dylan. It's coming out next week.
Oh, yeah.
And if Margot don't go with me, he could be my bitch. All right, you come with me. We'll
She'll
go
be a
together.
better date, but yeah, let's do
No,
it.
I'm just saying because usually I get
Yeah,
invited
I'd
with two,
love to.
And you'll
Let's
meet
do it.
Scorsese with me, and you know,
I'd
can't
love
hurt, right?
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Yeah.
So quickly, let's talk about your book. You
Yeah,
came out with
yeah.
a book a couple years ago.
Yeah, Ice Capades.
Whoa. My Sean Avery, you were an ice capade?
No, it was kind of a
Like with a tutu?
It was like a joke. That was what I named the book because, yeah, you know what? I read a book when I was done playing. This guy, Jim Bouton, wrote a book called
yeah.
Ball 4.
Yeah, sure.
And when I finished,
Is he still alive, Jim?
he's still alive. Yeah,
I remember meeting him years ago. Yeah.
I think it's one of the best sports memoirs ever written. So when I stopped playing, I said, you know what? I want to write a book like Ball 4. Mm-hmm. And I spent a year writing, and you know, we put it out. I think it's one of the best sports memoirs ever written because I tell the truth. I don't pull any punches. It's not like who's the crazy Dykstra wrote a book.
Yeah, it just came out.
And he was taking shots at everybody. Mm-hmm. I wrote a book about myself, all the stories that happened. It's all true. How much fun we had. Everyone that's read it loved the book. It's an easy read. It was a fun process, but yeah, honestly, you don't really make any money in the book world.
I wrote 3 books, and one of my books, well, one became a major motion picture, but Business Lunchitation hit number 5 in the New York Times bestseller.
Right.
I promote how can you lose? I hit it. Imus in the Morning at that time was number 1 in the country.
Stern.
Imus, Cavuto, and then I did O'Reilly. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And it went to number 5 on the New York Times bestseller.
Right.
I mean, it's easy when you have the people that listen to these people every morning, and you get a book out there. Look at Stern. I mean, his book hits number 1 automatically.
Right now,
He's
yeah.
got a following that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But no, yeah, the book was it was a good read. Ice Capades. Yeah, it was a fun process.
All right, we'll check
So
that
what
out.
else is next for you now?
Man, I mean, last week I had a callback with Sofia Coppola.
You ever meet Ellen Lewis, the casting director?
I don't know if I've been in.
All Scorsese's movies.
Yeah,
all
no,
of them.
I've never gone in with her.
Lovely lady.
There's a couple of stuff that Zack Snyder's got a movie Army of the Dead. I auditioned for that last week. Oh man, they're redoing remaking The Right Stuff. Remember the movie?
Yeah.
They're redoing that in a Showtime series. I read for that. Yeah, I mean, it's just I wake up every day.
You got to keep drawing the lines.
You got to grind it out. Yeah.
Keep drawing the lines, but do one thing. When you get that script, you should get yourself a script writer.
Right.
Someone that's going to read the other side, and then before you know it, you go back and forth. Then you put this thing goes down, and now you become it.
Well, that's.
And then when you're talking, you then become.
You're off book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's one thing I learned. I would say Vinny Maritondo, my cousin Vinny, my guy Vinny.
Yeah.
He's very responsible for me getting a lot of parts because, you know, you can have he's great with me when we go through the script writer. It's so important.
You can't. It's not a process.
You could have anybody. He doesn't have to be good, but he gets it. He knows when I'm not being hyperactive when it's supposed to. You say, "Bo, bring it up." Like, what the fuck you talking about,
Right.
man?
That's
I
your
mean,
thing.
You know, with the anger in the eyes,
Yeah.
it's different than what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
No, what the fuck you talking about?
Yep.
And then the eyes could talk with the mouth.
Yep. No,
That's acting, Carlo.
it's a beautiful art.
Yeah.
Getting good acting lessons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sean,
Carlo.
one more thing I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a good head on your shoulders. You still got it. What do you think about a lot of parents don't want their kids playing hockey because of the risk of, brain damage and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, CTE is this big thing that we hear about all the time now, right? Obviously, there's some science behind it. I think that out of all the sport, I mean, certainly, if you took football and you took hockey, football, clearly, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
The
You still have a helmet.
Yeah, you got a helmet on,
You
but
guys started wearing helmets, but I mean, you guys didn't have helmets years ago.
I think hockey's a safe sport. I don't think that, and ultimately, honestly, they've pretty much eliminated fighting out of the game. I mean, you can still fight, but there isn't even an enforcer on teams now.
What was that guy, Schultz, years ago?
Yeah, Dave the Hammer Schultz.
Yeah, he's
Fires.
Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah.
So those guys don't exist anymore. So I think hockey's a fast sport. It's a great sport. It's got that team part of it. I wouldn't say to my kid,
not
no.
to play.
Yeah. Now, would I want him to maybe play tennis or golf or something that I wasn't
like
sitting
golf.
in an arena
You-
at
are you
5
a
in the
golfer?
morning?
You should be.
No, I like tennis. I like
Really?
tennis. Yeah. I just can't sit on 5 hours on a golf course.
Yeah, but you
Kills
want
me.
some. When you get older, you
Yeah,
understand.
you're right.
You
like
you
it.
ease back. And
Right.
You meditate and all
Right,
that.
right.
A lot of the old hockey players I used to play at the celebrity tournaments, and very, very.
Yeah, they can hit the
very,
ball.
Very good players in hockey. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Basically, what we do, we wind it down now. But you're on for next week. But we'll wind down. We do a punk of the month, something that bothers you.
Right.
It could be a person, a thing, and all that. We do a punk of the month. What's something that Sean Avery right now today? What pisses you off the most?
The city, we have bike lanes in the city, and if you're a biker, we need to figure out, we're a city that we never have enough money. All these fucking delivery trucks and we need to hire more ticket people. We need to create something where these truck drivers and the bike lanes and get it under control.
Well, you know what?
Because you have to be able to be a great city. You have to be able to cater to all
And you have
aspects.
to be able to have transportation.
Right.
When it takes you half an hour to get from the east side to the west side, that's bad. But one of my ideas was, look, you have to have deliveries. But why don't we do nighttime deliveries?
Right.
And you just coordinate wherever you're delivering. Somebody's got to be there, and you only have deliveries after 10 o'clock at night. 10 to 6, you're out of the city. Open the city up. That's an answer.
Yep.
But it's too good of an answer.
Yep.
Bike lanes, as far as I'm concerned, they've overdone it. When they put the island, you have a bike lane, you have the island, then you have a truck double parking, and a 4-lane highway becomes 1 lane, and it's all screwed up. But I love the idea about after 10 o'clock at night. Hey, you want to make a delivery in my city? If I was the mayor, 10 to 6, you make your delivery.
You know why they won't? Because all the community boards, they all, there's too much. Everyone's afraid of making a decision and empowering. Who runs the MTA right now? Do you know?
The guy from England.
They keep changing it. It's
Who?
whatever it
Right.
is. Somebody
You don't even know whoever it
get in.
is. He's an idiot because that is the worst run
Absolutely.
transportation system in the entire world. So he's my punk of the week, or she. I think it's a
he.
she.
No, it's he.
Yeah,
It's a guy with an English accent.
What the hell does he know about New
Well,
York?
he knows about the tubes in London.
Yeah, well-
Well, look at the moron they got running the education department. Now all of a sudden he's saying he's from Mexico or something, and now he's saying that if you're white, you should not advance.
Oh, so
ridiculous.
it should be harder.
Yeah,
They should grade.
He said, quote unquote.
Right.
He had the guy said like this: if
Yeah.
there's a white kid who's a poor white kid,
Yeah.
or there's a middle class black kid, the middle class black kid should get help over the poor white kid because in society he has to work that much harder. Bullshit. Is
Yeah,
what
we're
I
in a
say.
crazy time, man.
Bullshit. bullshit.
agree.
And
I
that's
agree.
my punk of the week, the head of the
Richard
New York.
Carranza.
What's his name?
Richard Carranza.
Yeah, he's from
a lot of
Mexico, and you know what? He did pretty good in this country. He got a good job. He should start understanding life. Because
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, he's my punk of the week, and he treats people. You have people that dedicate themselves being teachers their whole lives. They don't see black, white, Hispanic. They see educating these kids.
Yep.
And what he should be dealing with is the mentally ill kids in the classroom that they can't remove. So you got another 28 people, kids that can't learn because you can't remove the mentally ill kid out of the classroom. That's what he should be dealing with instead of worrying about who's black, who's white, who's Spanish.
Yep.
And the poor Asian kids, 'cause you're too smart. So you know what, Mr. Asian kid, you're too smart. You can't get in that school. Bull crap. Hey, everyone can study, and it's out there for everyone. Hard work equals success.
I hear you.
End of story.
Thanks, guys.
Carlo, where
right.
can we get Avery on all these?
Plug
forms?
your social media, plug anything. you
Yeah,
want.
no, my
find you.
Instagram, Twitter, I'm Sean Avery. Same thing.
I'm Sean Avery.
I'm Sean Avery. So it's I am Sean Avery. And yeah, it's my daily grind in New York City. I yell at a lot of people. I'm always
How
yelling
many
at
followers
people.
you got?
I think I got 150 or
Oh,
something.
wow. Make sure you blast our podcast. We only got about
absolutely.
30,000. So.
Absolutely, Bo.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much, Sean Avery.
appreciate
Pleasure
it.
having you here. We've learned a lot about a lot of different
Yeah.
things. A lot of you're a real Renaissance man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, you could find us. We're on social media. We're at One Tough Podcast on Twitter. Bo is at Bo Deedle on Twitter and at The Real Bo Deedle on Instagram. You could find me. I'm CJ Coutinho on all platforms. We appreciate our fans. Please follow us. Please tell your friends. Give us a great review. And you could email all your questions, onetoughpodcast@gmail.com. We take a look at every email that comes in, guest suggestions, feedback, anything you want. And we'll see you next week.